Anu, you have your career like almost 25 years of experience.
Yeah.
So, was there any phase where you felt like what you're doing in this particular phase and you're clueless at that point of time?
Oh, this is such a great question. I have the perfect answer for it. So what happened with INRY was we had gotten it to a really good scale and we had a very good second line of leadership. So I realized that it was time for me to step away as CEO and for Bipin to take over. And so I fired myself from my own job. I was still invested, I was still on the board and stuff, but I was not involved in the day-to-day operations of INRY. And so after that, for 1 year, I didn't know what I was doing. My kids had grown up, my daughter had left the home, my son had gone off to college. And so it was just me, my husband was busy with work. I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I learned one of the biggest lessons in my life. I think you don't get inspiration by just sitting around. You have to be in motion. You have to constantly be seeking information. And so during that time, I basically started writing, sticking on my first book. I went to Harvard and I did the OPM program. And then I also started thinking about what other businesses. So I was talking to a lot of people. I think I might have talked to 400, 500 people in that 1 year. You know, I was like talking to people all the time, asking them what they were working on, what are some exciting things coming up. And then eventually, you know, L5 happened. We formed a ClickUp partnership. It took a year. I had a 1 year break. And for me, for somebody like me who has not taken a year off at any part of my life, it was a very big experience for me, just like learning to find myself.
So during this phase, any external pressures or expectations were on you?
Yes, everybody kept asking me, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? Because I'd never been the kind of person that sits at home. I went from engineering to started to working and then masters, and immediately after masters I got my first job. And even with the kids, like when I had my two babies, you know, I took maternity time, but then I went right back to work. So I had never had a long break in my entire career. So it upset everyone when I said I was retired. They wouldn't believe me. Actually, my friends would make fun of me. They'd be like, "Oh, you can't be retired. How can you retire? We don't believe it. You're such a workaholic." But yeah, that 1 year I had a lot of external pressure. Everybody kept asking me, "Why are you sitting idle?" But in my own head, I was not sitting idle.
Yeah,
I was trying a lot of different things.
Yes. In 1 year, I think that's not a break anyone would think of. Because
Yeah.
You have done some hard work course and you have found a new company, and you know, there was a lot going on in that particular 1 year of break.
Yeah, but it didn't become visible to everybody else until that 1 year had passed, right? It took launching Sticking On, launching L5 for people to realize, yeah, I was being productive. But sometimes outside it's not visible.
And what helped you move forward despite not knowing? Because it was uncertain time for you as well, right?
It was very uncertain. In fact, if I'm not a CEO and I'm not a mother, what am I? Right? Like, I did not know myself, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it was very uncertain. And I found that decisions cannot be made with certainty anyway. Like, you cannot always know. Data is always about the past. It's never about the future anyway. So you just keep looking to follow your curiosity, I feel. If you look in 5 different directions, maybe there'll be a thread that tugs at you and says, okay, this looks interesting, let's follow this thread a little bit. And then you follow it and eventually it becomes a direction. So I think it's more important to follow curiosity than to try and have some kind of certainty. I found that direction doesn't come from sitting around, direction comes from movement. The more you move around, the more exposure you seek, the more you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to find direction. A lot of times people will just sit around waiting for inspiration to strike them, and at least in my life I have not found that to be true.